So now I'm going to ask a question at heart to both of you, and I'm going to start out with Dag.
Yeah.
So what's the difference now? So we're now talking about a much broader and softer view of what a supply chain is, because we include the culture, and we were talking about management and also leadership. So what is the difference between management and leadership specifically, and why is one more interesting than the other in certain areas?
Okay. I think it's a very big difference, as a matter of fact, because management is related to the planning, organization, control, and everything of given functions in a way. Leadership is something very different. You need to get people along where you're moving. You have to think in a strategic and innovative way all the time. That's one of the things with logistics, as a matter of fact, because we started out on the operational tactical level and worked quite fine for quite some time. And you can ask anyone, a logistician, and they can define the operational side of logistics. They put up some maps and triangles and circles and whatever. You get a map of this is logistics on the operational side. But then if you ask about what does it look like if you want to picture the innovative system of logistics, then it's much more difficult. And that's where we really have to work, to think out of the box and to find ways to put together stuff in another way than before, not just improving what you have been doing for quite some time, but to do different things.
But actually take the jump.
Yeah, and that's where you need the leadership. That's where you need the leadership to think in a different way and to find, as we sometimes call it, the blue ocean instead of the red ocean where everybody's competing. You have to get out of there, get out of the competition, and you don't have to think about competitors if you find the right niche. And that's where when you need the leadership stuff. I've been saying sometimes by looking back at over the years of things we have done well and less well, that if you really want to have a change, you need a soul of fire. You need someone who's really can be the change leader, who can take charge and really, I sometimes call it daring patience, to be bold enough to make some rather tough decisions and also have the patience to carry it through, to see to it that it really happens in real life. That's the soul of fire. And then you need him or her to get people along. You need the people in the organization and in the whole demand chain, if you wish, to really follow and to measure up to it, and not only talk about 9 to 5, but really put their heart into it, enthusiasm and over that. And then finally you need the management by holistics, the setup, all the things you know from supply chain, whatever, the tools, how to use them.
Yeah. So if I were to take your vision on that and your idea of alignment and the frameworks, we're starting to get something here.
Well, I think we're in serious agreement here. I guess the nuances, I would say, is one of the most difficult things today in being a leader. Like, I mean, the chief executive is he has to develop around him a top team, not just of functional specialists, but people who have slightly different styles as well. It's a bit like any team, soccer team, rugby team. You have different specialist positions, but they've got to play together as a team. And the way you lead, which is, as Doug said, you're creating that vision, you're taking the risks, and you're setting the forum up within which people then manage day to day, is that you come from by looking at the market. In many ways, companies need to look at the structure of their market and what's happening in their market, not just with their customers, but the competitors, which are a force in that market, and you've got regulatory and everything, which can influence the behaviour of customers. By understanding how your market breaks up, what percentages is that loyal component, what percentage is looking for that low-cost transactional approach, what percentage is becoming more volatile and demanding, then you need inside in the leadership team people who can, if you like, take ownership of those different strands and develop supply chains with creating subcultures of people, because you can't have a subculture of cost control and expect that to deliver an innovation a strategy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As Doug was saying the same. And in fact, what my research has found that between 40 and 60% of everything we write down on business plans, including our supply chain strategies, never get delivered got nothing to do with competitors. It's got all to do with people in organisations who are saying to people like you, Nicholas, as you are expounding your strategy, yeah, but deep down they're going, no. And you get this incredible slippage because we've created these sort of random cultures inside our business, a bit like my mother's fruitcake. She used to make a great fruitcake. And we've thrown people together inside organisations, we've brought them in, we've recruited people, but we've never genetically engineered them into subcultures that can systematically underpin innovation or speed or low cost or relationship. And so I think a big challenge for us in the supply chain is, as Doug said, is moving from the position we're at the moment, which is random fruitcakes, to a position in the future of taking the same people and putting square pegs in round holes and bringing in people in the right way, training them in appropriate ways and not just having general training, and creating these subcultures that will underpin this sort of multiple supply chain strategy, because that's the way the world is.
Okay.
That's the big challenge.